I'm like the chair of the Committee on Culture and Education.
How we should make education great for the first time, because it was never great.
The European Parliament doesn't have the right to actually propose laws. And now, if we have this big bloc of the far right, they would vote against my ideas. So
why they will vote against if it's something that will benefit?
Of course, but I would say like they're not so much in favor of cultural exchange.
For me, it's a bit stupid to see like, okay, Finland is doing a great job on education. Why to not encourage other countries to do closer things to Finland? That's how you have inequality between the member states.
That's what I mean.
Because everything starts from education.
There is something called the cordon sanitaire within the European Parliament.
We need to explain this, guys.
Yes.
So a lot of the groups, which they are the majority basically, they decide, okay, we don't want to do anything with the far right, which I completely disagree because I think with democracy we need to hear them. People voted for them and they need to work.
But this minority is voting against, as I said, like human rights, against dignity, against like democracy. And in that moment someone comes in like, humans are not equal, then I'm out. Sorry, then I cannot vote for you or with you.
Donald Trump, he announced, we probably don't like him.
Probably, no, I don't like Donald Trump. Yes.
He announced,
you like him, just like...
Well, hello.
Hi.
We are going to talk today about education, which is the most important topic, I believe.
It is.
And introduce yourself. Who are you? And she's a very important person about education, guys, here in the parliament. Introduce yourself.
Well, yeah, thank you very much. And yes, it's like, for me personally, it's like the most important topic because I'm a mother of two and, you know, I like try to educate my sons. I'm a teacher, well, I have been a teacher until July, actually.
Oh, wow.
I'm really teaching in high school for about 13 years, I guess. So education and teaching is really my passion. And now here at the European Parliament, I became elected in July, just as you did, in June. So I'm new to Parliament, but what I do here now is that I'm like the chair of the Committee on Culture and Education, so which also covers youth and sports. So here I can really, you know, live my passion and like kind of shape the future for the younger generation.
So to explain to the people, there is 20 committees that they are responsible, each one for different topic, and you are responsible for the education and culture in Europe.
Exactly.
So and you are how many MEPs there are in your committee?
Well, it depends. It's like kind of 30, like, but each committee has like a different amount.
So there are 30 MEPs,
full
members, and another 30, so 60 in total.
Yeah, well, it's like, yes, you could say so.
Interesting. And let's talk about education. How education should be. First of all, I need to make my statement, which is, I think, is not good. Education right now,
but
especially
it should be good,
in
right?
Yes. We have a lot, like forcing the kids to learn stuff, and this is not the way to force them. They need to want themselves. They need to understand why it's important for them to learn and for them to develop. So a lot of the countries we are teaching to the test, and like we make everything about this test, and it becomes not fun for them. They lose their childhood in schools. And in my country, the schools look like prison, and kids feel like they're in prison. So that's why what are your thoughts about the topic and how we should make education great for the first time, because it was never great?
I think we can stop the podcast here because you said everything I was gonna say. It's like, yes, I agree. It's not great because, as you just said, like we don't teach. What my approach always was, like also being a teacher, having a look at the individual child, or then also almost adult, and to see what does this person need to develop further, and not in a direction I want this person to develop, but in a direction that himself would be just good for this person, you know, like where are your talents, what don't you like, how can you become a human that's actually in German we say mündig, and I'm missing the German word. It's kind of, you can build your own opinion about things. Like we don't have to agree on anything, but for me it's just very important that you have your own opinion and you can explain me how you came to that opinion and why. And then I'll be fine with it, that we are also like able to actually discuss things. Yeah, that's what education should be about, to know like where do I get my infos from, who can I trust, and not about like I know exact the date of I don't know when this and this happened and that and that happened.
With Google and ChatGPT and everything, like knowledge, it becomes like a commodity, like you can find it easily. So it's about how do you find the information and how do you develop critical thinking.
Absolutely.
And school teaches you to not do that.
Yes. Yes.
So it's a crime. It's an actual crime that we're doing. Like,
and
also we waste so much potential for the kids. They are spending their time that they can be the opportunity cost that they can be doing something else. Is crazy.
And also, I think we see it like now in all these recent elections, like all across Europe, like the rise of the far right. I do actually believe that it's also because like kids see stuff on the internet, on Instagram, whatsoever, and it's really easy to just consume all this stuff. You know, there's like very easy solutions being presented, and kids see it and they're like, oh, cool, they're gonna solve, I don't know, this and this problem, I'm gonna vote for them, without ever asking what it actually means, how they will actually do it. And that I think we see now, like all across Europe, and that's something that school has been missing. Just what I said, like, or you said also, critical thinking is not being valued at schools.
And also, we don't give them the opportunity to experience democracy from before. They should vote maybe earlier. They should have some stuff.
Yes, definitely.
We have like the representatives of the students, especially in my country, and they don't actually do nothing.
Yeah, same.
So you don't give them actual responsibility and
we
actual
do listen,
stuff to
you're
decide.
Like, oh, interesting, and then you turn around and like, well, but so
they're kids, they don't know.
Yes, yeah.
We know better, but like if you give them the opportunity, if you give them actually the to own their decisions, to see how it develops, they will become, they will develop. Critical thinking is about the actions that you took, and you evaluate if it was not, but if your actions didn't matter, it's like you didn't took them.
Yes, that's why now I'm very like curious. I don't know whether like all of the followers have heard about this new commission that is going to hopefully going to start soon here in Europe. And like all of these commissioners, they got some, it's called mission letters. And in there it says there should be like a youth dialogue for every commissioner. So he or she has to actually get in contact with the youth and ask them whatsoever what they want. And of course it kind of depends, and it's up to them how seriously that's going to be taken. But like my big hope is that this is like the first step to actually listen to the youth and see them and then actually do something with them. I fear that again it will be like, oh, interesting what you say, but we are going to do this anyway.
Let's explain to the people how does this European Union is not really responsible for education. Yeah, sure. Is that right or not?
Yes, it is right.
Like, should it be like this?
Yeah. Well, exactly. Like the member states are responsible, and they're of course very afraid of giving away competences because it's like their competences. But what we see is that like all across Europe, accessibility to education is very different by giving it just to the member states. So, and also what the member states actually pay for their educational system is very different. So my approach would be, or what I'm fighting for, of course, is like accessibility to the educational system, which also means like having some or like the same amount of money from, not the same amount of money, but of the GDP from like each member state spent on education.
So you are forcing them kind of to spend.
That's what
you
I
have
would
some check and balances for the educational systems.
That would be perfect if we could do that. Like at least spend your money on education because we need it there.
But for me, it's a bit stupid to see like, okay, Finland is doing a great job on education. And why to not encourage other countries to do closer things to Finland? Yeah. And that's how you have inequality between the member states.
That's what I mean.
Because everything starts from education. So I'm not saying you should learn all the same exact history.
No.
But especially try to have some influence as European Union.
Yes. And again, it's not about like forcing students to learn this date and that and whatsoever. Of course, they need like, basic competences. But it's about creating an environment that actually enables students, boys, girls, whoever you want to be, to enable to develop your own personality. Like creating this environment and, giving in all the resources that individual person needs. That's what I like am fighting for. And also, as I said, make education accessible. It should never be about the money. Like I know there's like so-called good schools and not so good schools like all across Europe, and some people cannot afford to go to the good schools, and that's like, no one should have to actually buy your own school books. It should be something that actually the state is responsible for.
How much power you have to change things as the president of this committee chair?
Well, I'm working on it. I would put it like that. We are working on it. But of course, as you said,
explain me the limitations where you can influence and what you can influence.
It is national competences, so I cannot go there and say like your school system should look like this. Bam, this is it.
But what you can change? Can you do anything or no?
We could like actually be like, my idea would be to have like an exchange hub, a European exchange hub, where, as you just proposed, like, why is Finland working so well? So we would have this exchange of countries coming together and actually start learning from each other. So that could be something we can do.
Okay.
Then we have, of course, you probably have heard of it, Erasmus Plus, which is like not only an exchange hub for like professionals, but which is like exchange for students, but also for teachers, also for vocational training, also for grammar school I learned, which also I wasn't aware of before, where really, mobility within Europe is fostered. And that again is something that I very much am keen to do, because also here, of course, it is like people that have money, for them it's easier to access this program. So that is something for me.
Do you as a committee chair or maybe the committee itself have any power over these things or no?
Yeah, yes.
So we can do this?
Yes. As I said before, like I couldn't go to like a country and tell them your school system should look like that, but everything apart from that
needs to happen for this to happen? So
we need a majorities here in the parliament. So that's a crucial thing right now. Because me, myself, I'm from Volt. A party which here in the parliament joined the Greens, the Green faction, the Green group, for actually being able to work on files. I can explain it that way. So we are in a Green group now, and I hope like all the followers will know.
They don't know. They don't know. Nobody knows anything about the European Parliament.
Yes, so we gotta explain.
I need to always remember that nobody knows what an MEP is.
Yes,
MEP is the member of the European Parliament.
Yeah, perfect.
So that's why I'm trying to explain everything, because we're living so much in the bubble that nobody understands outside.
So true. And again, so there's like the Greens, Left, S&D, EPP. Renew, and then there's the right, ECR, and the far right, PFE and ESN. That's like the groups within the parliament. And now there's like these ideas that I just mentioned. So I need majorities for my ideas. So I bring them like into the parliament, and all the members can like vote on them. And now if we have like this big block of the far right, they would vote against my ideas. So
why they will vote against? If it's something that will benefit?
Of course, like if it's something they would think that would benefit them, of course. But I would say like they're not so much in favor of cultural exchange. So they are more in favor of like, we have to teach our own national history.
Yeah, but nobody will be hurt if we have like a cultural exchange to learn the
you
good
would
things.
Think so again. I would think so
okay,
too.
Let's go a bit back. So you need to, because we need to understand how the parliament works. And I am. So you are going to bring in your committee. You are going to decide with the 7 groups in a meeting. What will be the stuff that you are going to talk in the committee? Can you? And then you are going to give us an example. Okay, this exchange between the learning of the educational system. What needs to happen to decide, and then it goes to the plenary session. And then after the plenary session, if you have majority, then the commission needs to.
Exactly.
Can you explain the whole process and how impossible or possible is?
Maybe what I forgot to mention, like I explained all the groups, but of course there's like also the non-attached ones, and I'm sorry for not mentioning them before.
It's okay. I'm independent here.
Exactly. And maybe we should also like just to let your followers know, because there's also the non-attached ones, like some that decided not to join a group, which is also fine. And there you have to explain me. You're also working in committees. Of course, like I have non-attached, but you are not getting the files, right? So you're not.
So it's possible for people to get files in the past, but they need to have trust from before, and the reporters need to trust them and all this stuff. So it's basically impossible to get a file as a non-attached. But yes, so there is a lot of things that we kind of not fair about the non-attached, where we cannot, and the biggest problem is we cannot be in this reporter and shadow reporter.
For that you cannot do that.
Yeah, we cannot, because we don't have, we're not a group. So there is only the representatives of the groups. So that's the biggest vulnerability, I would say. But there is also a lot of other stuff. Freedom, you can say whatever you want. You can use also your budget however you want. You don't want to ask the group how I'm going to use my budgets and all this stuff. But answer the question of what needs to happen and follow for something about the education, about this example that we gave, what needs to happen inside the committee, how it goes outside the plenary, and how it goes with the commission and the council, and when it becomes a decision and how it's happening.
But I'm also learning on it because and again, this is something we need to explain. The European Parliament doesn't have the right to actually propose laws. You know, we don't have the legislative initiative, which only the Commission has it, and it has ideas about some laws, and it's like, hey, Council, European Parliament, I'm telling you to work on this and that. What we actually can do is, on the other hand, have our own ideas and propose them as so-called ENIs and whatsoever, and work on them. And then by that, they turn around to the Commission, and then might actually be proposed by them as a law and go back to us.
How you say innings?
INI, it's initial.
So basically, if the majority of the parliament agrees that something
not the parliament, but also the committees. Only committees. So all of this, what I'm talking about, is we work in committees. Oh, okay, maybe that's exactly going back to that. We're working inside the committees on our different topics. And you said before, there's plenty of committees. I'm a member of the chair of the Education and Culture. I'm also a member of the Employment and Social Rights Committee, and then there's other committee, budget, TRAN, which means transport. What else do we have? AFCO, which is constitutional affairs and stuff like that. So there's plenty of committees, and depending on what this file is about, each committee is taken. You know, for what is there, food or something, that would be agri, which is for agriculture. So they would work within this committee on this file, and within this committee there's all these political groups that we've been mentioning before, Greens, S&D, Renew, whatsoever. So within the committee you have to decide which group is going to work on this file. And of course, depending on the group working on the file, the outcome could be pretty
So you
different.
decide as a chair?
No, not me as a chair, because of course I'm from the Green Group, but as a chair I'm neutral. So we as a committee, I'm like the teacher in this committee, because I'm sitting in front, I'm like, okay guys, so we now have to find a solution. Who wants to work on this file?
And you fight internally. What party will get this fight?
Yeah, I wouldn't say fight, because there's mechanisms for it. There's of course, the first approach is guys just talk about it and can we find a solution. And so far, I'm only here for 3 months, so this is very much the beginning. And so far, we've always found a solution. But then if that doesn't work, there's mechanisms, depending on the group size, there's points to be allocated. And then there's okay, if you can't find a solution, then we have a look at this list. Oh no, it's, Renew's term, so you can have that file. Yeah.
So my question now is, how do you got the chair?
Good question, because I'm very new to Parliament, I said it before, and I never, for me personally, I never expected to be a politician, and then coming here, becoming an MP, it was never oh no, I want to be a chair. But I always fought for being in this committee, because that really was the committee I'm passionate about. So I was in this committee, and then the I think third biggest group, prove me if I'm wrong, I don't know, is like now the PFE, which is a far right group. And there is something called the cordon sanitaire within the European Parliament.
We need to explain this, guys.
Yes,
so on the far right, a lot of the groups like the Greens, the left, and the SND
yes.
and the EPP,
also EPP so far,
which they are the majority basically. They have the majorities. They decide, okay, we don't want to do anything with the Patriots and ESN, which I completely disagree because I think with democracy we need to hear them, but it's not a matter of agreeing or disagree with them. Like, this is not fair. People voted for them and they need to work.
But people voted for a democratic majority, like in a whole. So that's what we say. But it's totally fine. Like, if you say for you it's not fair, perfect.
Yes, yes. That's what democracy
exactly.
is. That's the beautiful thing. Yes. But so explain us. So it was I wanted to explain the cordon sanitaire and what happened between.
Because like all of these committees that we've mentioned before, they have one chair. Depending on like the size of the group, like I don't know.
Do the Greens have other chairs as well? How many chairs they have?
We have 3 now, and I think it's IMCO and DRA. Yeah, it's IMCO and DRA. IMCO is like consumer protection, and DRA is like human rights.
And that's because they didn't want to give to the far right?
No, not them. That was like decided before, because it's like depending on the group you get like shares.
Yeah, no, but because they didn't want to give it to the far right.
That's only my share, exactly. Then there was like this culture left, and it was like, well, it should have been allocated to the far right, but everything is a vote, which also, again, this is democracy. So all the democratic groups, I would say, they agreed on we vote on not giving this share to the far right.
Wow.
And so that's why the Greens got a share. They voted like against.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So that's the way I became a share. Now I'm here and I'm very happy.
What do you think about this? Let's talk about this a bit.
Yeah, more. About what?
About this, what
being
happened?
A share. What happened?
Because the majorities voted. Because I don't know. I said that I'm against cordon sanitaire, but like, let's talk about it. Maybe so what do you think about this? You think it was fair because the majority voted on something?
Yeah.
But if the majority votes to kill other people, then it's okay?
Of course not. Of course not. Because the majority.
Where do you draw the line?
Because that wouldn't be democratic. Like, the line is really there where it like comes to human dignity or democracy.
But for example, you are in the Greens. You don't need to prepare take care of the minorities as well. So
we need to take, yes, we do.
But they're the minority, so voting against them is against the principle of the Greens. I don't know, I'm just...
No, I wouldn't say so, because this minority is not a minority like by itself, but a minority chosen by itself, voting against, as I said, like human rights, against dignity, against like democracy. And that is something we have to stand up upon. Like, we can never vote for anyone who says like one human is more worth than another or something. That is like where it really draws the line, because we are equal, and that is something we are fighting for. And in that moment someone comes in like, humans are not equal, then I'm out. They're like, no, sorry, then I cannot vote for you or with you. So, and I'm very happy that also the EPP in that case like did that. Yeah.
It's very interesting. So okay, let's go one step back and let's talk a bit more about the principle. So to summarize, we understood that we cannot really change stuff in the education, even if maybe we can do some small things like exchange learning between the member states.
Yeah, but we cannot change the educational systems in the country.
Even if you do your best, if your committee is the most powerful committee ever created.
Which until now they are really doing a good work.
And the way to do it is to change the treaties of the European Union. So we're going to a different committee, which is AFCO. So if we want to change the education, we need to change the treaties of the European Union to be able to influence. So, which is almost impossible. Why?
Because there's, of course, again, national competences. They don't want to give it away. But also, again, because now with the not majorities, but with very powerful right-wing forces we do have now, of course, and that is fair because that's their opinion. They think, no, all of these things that you mentioned are better off national politics. That's their opinion. I have another opinion, so I will fight for something else. But that's what happens within this AFCO committee, of course.
And also now Donald Trump, he announced, we probably don't like him.
Probably, no, I don't like Donald Trump. I can stay that here for now and forever. Okay. Yes. Do you like him? Just like...
Well, I like some things about him.
Tell me more. I want to know.
Well, I like the way that he approaches politics with a bit more fun, playful way, which I think politics.
But do you think that he himself thinks it's fun?
What?
He just takes himself seriously, doesn't he?
He does, yes. But he's also joking, and he's a normal person, not like the regular politicians that they speak in the podium.
Normal as a billionaire can be, right?
Anyways,
yes.
But he gave the power to the member, to all the 50 states to do kind of the same thing that the European. They need to choose about their education. Recently, he announced that he will do that. So it's interesting that you decentralize kind of the power, and this is what happens now in the European Union. It's kind of more, so maybe sometimes it's good because sometimes the European Union sometimes is so bureaucratic, and maybe they can't. Maybe sometimes it's good to have down.
Of course, like we're not saying like in any case at any stage we need like our claim is not just more European Union. Of course not. Our claim is like there where it's like where we think it's useful, we can do stuff together. And we think like, no, of course, this is like, never forget about the regions, of course. Like there's regional differences, of course. So that's totally fine. It's just like, gather some power. And as you said, like if there's great ideas in Finland, why not meet them
take
and
some
talk
ideas
them.
And steal some ideas.
Absolutely.
And we're allowed.
Wouldn't cost anyone, wouldn't hurt
anyone.
We're
European Union. We're functioning together as a whole. Exactly. So this is the interesting thing. But let's go back one step and talk about the principles of education a bit. That is your topic. And but I think also is one of the topics that I find I'm very close because I'm 24. I've been a student a couple of years ago. I didn't graduate. I never studied in a university. It's very funny that I'm a member of the European Parliament.
I love that. That's so cool. Because this is a very, as we said before, like a bubble here. And also for me, being a teacher, there's not many teachers here. There's not many mothers here either. So I feel like it's now on us to actually open up the parliament and to bring different perspectives in here.
Yes. So let's. I will talk about my philosophy of education, and then you can talk about your philosophy of education.
Very curious.
I think education needs to be something that is fun, and the students are enjoying their time in the school. So because when you have fun, you learn more. Studies show, the science show.
Yes.
So when you enjoy your time, and also they need to not. The world is changing. Now they can find all the factual information online. So they need to have different things that is helping their critical thinking. But how you develop critical thinking is with making mistakes and doing stuff. The educational system is not allowing them to make mistakes and is punishing them for their mistakes. So it's punishing kind of creativity in a way. So we are. So when we grow up with the kids, they are very curious and they are touching. They are asking questions about everything,
which can be annoying.
But the school comes and punishes this. So the schools needs to allow this. So they need to allow the creativity to unleash, and creativity is unleashed when you are choosing what to do, when you are trying different things. So and now the world is changing. So very rapidly, and like the world is moving online also. It's like using these tools. Like ChatGPT should be used in the schools, not don't use it because you are going to cheat on the test.
It's about because ChatGPT won't go away. It will be there, and we have
and
to
more tools like this will be developed. So you cannot ban them out.
Absolutely.
It needs to be the school needs to be a representation of the society outside. So whatever is outside needs to be inside. So they need to learn how to govern the school themselves. They need to choose some rules and regulations themselves. The student needs to have a saying in what the curriculum will be. because they are the ones that will.
You mean now every individual school, like
no,
from one city to
but
another?
I'm just saying that the students need to decide in a democratic way, or some stuff that actually have some stance. Let's go to this place one day. Let's bring this person to talk to us. Let's bring this YouTuber to teach us. And so, because the students cannot decide anything. So this is kind of my philosophy about.
I got one question about it, because you said like education, learning should be fun. Do you by that mean that, because like, do you by fun meaning, that students are at school and like always happy and it's like always so cool, and never to have anything that they also experience, this was hard and this maybe wasn't what I expected? But like, should it also always be like, gaming? Should like the whole life be like, wow, this is so cool, and always smiling? Or what do you mean by fun?
Well, do you think this was fun?
I did, but
so,
of course,
but we're talking about very important, serious things. It was very serious, and this was fun. And it was hard also. We're exposing ourselves.
But then I understand you right,
self in the camera. So this is what I mean by fun.
Perfect. Then I'm with you.
Yes.
Yeah, because of course, there's always approaches that are like, oh no, the feeling should never be in a bad way or something, because that's something actually I do think that we should trust students, and also having to, take decisions which are not always easy to take. So we should equip them with enough ability to, as I said before, right, to actually be critical about things, which isn't always like fun in a way, haha, this is so funny, but which can be actually also tiring.
Yes, but I agree with you. We'll have a couple of minutes to do the closing statements. But because I did one challenge in my life that I didn't eat food for 30 days.
30, that is quite a lot.
And I lost a lot of pounds, and it was very difficult. Wow. But that was fun, because I learned a lot of things in the process. So I'm just saying that we agree with the we established the philosophy of fun. Okay, so what does I always, because we don't have a lot of time, I will ask the final question. I don't know, how do you have anything to say before the final question?
Oh, it's like, whoa.
Anything else, or a statement or anything before I ask the final question, which is difficult?
Well, statement maybe, yes, to all of your followers. Go do politics yourself, and you don't have to agree with any of what I said. It's just like, don't let, because you are new to parliament, I am new to parliament. We just spoke about like how we are like kind of exotic to parliament, so they should actually go outside and do it themselves and just give it a try, because it's on them to change the world in a way they want it. So that's really And politics become increasingly more important, guys, because with artificial intelligence and all this stuff, we are the crossroads of history now. We're going to decide history. I agree.
So politics is more important than ever.
I agree.
And I always ask the guest one very difficult question. You are going to die in 30 seconds. What you
30 seconds?
Yes, what you want your last words to be in this planet? Do you want to say something to the people or to your family on if you were to die in 30 seconds?
I would say, like, of course, to everybody, more love, but especially to my own kids, I love you to death. And then I'd be dead, right? So love, 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 yes. And that may seem naive, but it's not. So.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for watching. We love you.